Welcome, everybody. I just want to apologize. We may have some internet streaming issues. I've had to shut one device down already, and I'm not sure really what the deal is. So those of you guys in Dialpad, if things go south, just jump back on. I apologize. It just said something about my internet connection. So I have duct taped all my children to their doors. They can't touch anything with computers. So George, trust me, nobody's going to be interfering. We're going to try to keep it low if we can. I'm just kidding. I don't do that. But anyway, the reason that we're going to All right, there we go. We're back in again. Thank you very much. So tonight, we're going to be talking about, that's so weird. All right. Anyway, tonight we're going to be talking about the straw person again. And the reason that we're going to be talking about the straw person again is because I just had a series of classes over the past weekend, and we were talking about UCC and trust and things like that. April was involved in that class. And these classes are workshops, okay? These are not classes for you to sit around and go, oh, I'm just going to write this down. Or you want to be a professional student and you want to load it in the 8-track on Wednesday nights. This is not that class. Definitely not that class. This is a life-changing class. And the reason that it's a life-changing class is because we really don't know who we are outside of what Morning America pretty much tells us. And April, would you agree? Like, we just really don't know as a society. I think people just turn on the TV just to figure out who they are sometimes, maybe. Would you agree?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I definitely agree. And it's weird because once you see the difference, it's like you're living in two different worlds. You know what I mean? You see the people, you know that they don't know, and you're walking in this world of reality.
Right.
It's really, yeah, it's a thing.
I noticed it, and you know, I think that people just really lose touch on who they are, and I think they forget who they are, and we go to, you know, I think that George Carlin said it best was when he said that you know, the reason that we have homeless people is to scare the crap out of the world. He said the shit, but I mean, scare the crap out of the middle class. I mean, you don't want to be that guy. You want to be that guy in that tent. You better work harder. Get back on there and pedal, pedal, pedal. What's the purpose for all this? You know, what is the purpose for all this? I mean, what do you think they're trying to accomplish here? What are they doing to us, June? Are they trying to give us, April? Are they trying to give us bigger calves, or what are they doing here?
I think that it is trying to keep us churning on the wheel of production for them.
Right. Right. I agree. What were your thoughts, or what's your input on, I mean, because you went through the UCC and trust class, what were your thoughts on that versus kind of like what position at the table were you in then, or what position are you at the table now? I guess would be a
well, I think I was already in a pretty strong position, but I think by attending the class, you're in the position of enforcement, which is nothing means anything if you don't have enforcement. You can do all the paperwork you want. You can know everything, but if you don't have enforcement, it doesn't matter.
Right.
I think that's where it changed right there. Was I already am in the secured party creditor position, but if you don't know how to use it and you don't know how to enforce it, there's really no value.
It's like a name tag only, I think.
Right.
You know, it's like something you just put at your signature line and hope for.
Exactly.
Am I right?
Yeah.
I mean, right, guys out there at TikTok land, would you guys agree? Come on. I know there's some of y'all out here putting that SBC down, and some of y'all just started doing it like yesterday.
The government, the thing about being a secured party creditor, okay, the government uses words to trick you, okay? So the government always thinks of everything in terms of money. So when people think of a secured party creditor, what law enforcement will call you is a sovereign, okay?
Right.
That's their term. But in reality, it's a secured party creditor. And they don't want you to be the creditor, because if you're in the creditor position, you have the power. I mean, think about all the people who are fearful of debt collectors calling them. Why? because the creditor has the power.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
I just had it out with with an insurance agent, and I wanted to request their E&O policy because they've been charging me for insurance for the last 3 years on something I don't even own. So, and when we started, and they were like, well, I could just take 90 days off and we could just backdate it from there. And I was like, no, you're required to send me notice that you're going to jump into my account. And when you don't do that, you cross the line. Now, can you prove that you sent me notice? Well, you sent it to the last da-da-da. That's not what I asked you, sir. Can you prove you sent me notice? I don't think you can. So here's what I'm going to do. I need your address and I need your fax number. And I'm going to be sending some paperwork your way. And our conversation went from, so in the middle of that conversation, I got sent to a supervisor. And at the end of that conversation, we turned into, yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I told him I'm going to bill him. I have to. I mean, I manage a trust, sir. How am I going to explain to the trust that I've been paying insurance on something for 2-3 years and we don't even own the property? So what? My books are supposed to look effed up and yours are supposed to look good? That's not how that works, sir. I'm the grantor of this policy. As soon as I said grantor of the policy, let me get a supervisor. That changed everything. Like you said, you're letting him know what's up.
That's right. I think it's really important to know your position. And the thing about the government is the government works on, they want to be the creditor, of course. They want to use fear and intimidation, but they also try to get the superior position on you as much as they possibly can. They're trying to operate as if you are a fictitious entity like they are.
Right. And that's what they want to do. They want to pull you in.
He gets frozen a little. Oh.
1 second. I'm going to go down here and make sure I don't have anything open.
Okay.
I'm going to close some files. Hold on. I had a couple.
Well, the other thing about the government is they run on paper. Corporate things run on paper.
Right.
Okay? And paper is superior. So when you think about that, sorry, they run on paper and contracts. And so here you have this paper, and because that's why they say, I'm going to send you a strongly worded letter, is because it matters. They don't say, I'm going to send you a strongly worded phone call. And attorneys use paper also to make sure that their position is clear. So what you're doing as a secured party creditor is you are making your position clear. Your position is already there. You're just making it clear and correcting, like he said, you're correcting the straw man's position. That's what you got to do. I can't see questions that I know of. Let me see. Maybe I can. Oh, I can. So if anybody wants to put anything in there, he's coming back. I promise. I think he's having a little bit of internet problem over there. But I see him in here. Oh, no, it says he hasn't joined. So anyway, that's the thing. Tess, Peter, okay. Shannon, I see you right there. And here he is.
Yes. Thank you. I'm sorry. I did. Yeah, I totally got, I was on TikTok and I'm apologizing to them, telling them I got kicked out of my own call. My goodness. But, and it's good. I totally agree with you though. Everything is based on paper. And if you win in paper, you win in law. If you win in presentment, you win. Mm-hmm. So when we hear people say stuff like sign all rights reserved or UCC 1-308 right below your driver's license, that's a contract. It's a bond. It's a bond that actually could benefit you. Yes, it's nothing scary, guys. Your driver's license is nothing scary. Can I tell you? Your driver's license has everything that your credit card has on it, right down to the strip in the back. Yeah. You know why? Because it is one. In your Seska QV Trust. Oh my God. I said the name.
How much money is it that they take out on your driver's license when you apply for that? It's like some ridiculous amount of money.
It's 10 grand.
I thought it was
It's a $10,000 bond. I'm glad I found you too, brother. It's a $10,000 bond.
I thought it was higher than that.
No, I mean it can be if they can assess more damages to it. Then they assess it. They go to another level, but that's not where we don't do that on the. That's class.
Maybe it should be higher on teenagers than really old people. Just saying. I'm just kidding.
Well, I think we got discrimination in the wrong direction in this country. That's all I gotta say. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you're like,
I'm just
you're
gonna
way
leave it.
younger.
I'm just gonna leave it at that. Yeah.
You're way younger than I am.
Whatever. Anyway.
You are.
Oh, yes, I am. Anyway, anyway, so tonight we're going to be talking about some stuff. I was just starting to talk to you about this. You know, the driver's license. It's a bond. You know, but yet you have a lot of teachers that are telling you it's a contract with the state. And they're telling you to sign it at the bottom, UCC 1-308. You know why? Because they want you to get on the list. Yeah, that's not the one you want to get on, though. Okay? And they have to have the straw man's signature on there to enforce the bond or to have the bond. So what you have is by people doing stuff like this is that they're just literally out there just trying to be a pain in the ass and sabotage things, Kenny Plaster. And that's not how you fix things. We don't fix things by sabotage. We fix things by being honest, by bearing good witness, by bearing truthful witness. Hey, Connie. Good to see you. And that's really important. So what we have is we have a breakdown in ethics in business. That's why things go bad. And so because of that, you have two hats. Okay. There's two hats that the judges will always wear. They always wear the law hat, and that's the one everybody thinks they know about, right? But what you'll find, and I think April and I were talking about this today, is that attorneys know more about procedure than they knew about law. They don't know anything about law, but they can tie their shoes from left to right. What does that tell you? You know, master of puppets is pulling the strings. That's what that means. Okay. And you know, what, and tonight I was telling these guys here, I'm going to tell you guys why you're not winning your court cases. I'm going to tell you exactly why you're not winning your court cases. There are two ways to win a court case. You can win it lawfully, or you can win it in equity. You really could. So those are your two options. Hold on a second, man. My little chat box went under here. Hey, Peter. Test. I see you. Scott, I'm glad I found you too, brother. You're amazing. That's right. All right. And it's true. If you read the lyrics to Metallica's Master of Puppets, that's exactly what they're talking about. Right in front of your face. Waving it in front of your face. It's an insult. But you know what? We could get butt hurt about it, or we could pick our pride up off the floor and learn something. You could complain about it and say, oh, it's not fair, and it's all a fiction, and I don't believe in it, and I just want to check out of the system. Well, all that is just an excuse. You're a quitter. If you're saying stuff like that, you're just a quitter. Because you're choosing to check out. Rather than to face the things that you have to face, you're choosing to check out. And unfortunately, there's a lot of people in this movement that have that mentality. And they want to stay stuck. And best of all, they want all of you to stay stuck with them. You know why? So they can feel right. So they can feel correct. Derek Gonzalez. You know who I'm talking about. All these folks out there. They want you to go act like a jackass in court so you'll get in as much trouble as they can. And so they can just match stories with you. But you know what? They're not thinking about that you have a life. You have children. You have accountability. Because those people don't have any accountability. They've already thrown it out the window because they believe in dishonor. They're looking for a way to dishonor what they're doing out there. I can't tell you how many people come to me and want my help. And they've already dug themselves a 7-foot hole. And they're like,
oh,
hey,
boy.
Can you come and help me?
That is true.
I can't even see you. You know what I mean? April.
Yeah, oh, yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about. Yep.
I put in a plea for murder and I said I did it. Can you come and help me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be right on it.
I signed this or that or whatever.
And then you're an SOB because your stuff doesn't work. See,
Yeah.
it doesn't work. No. No. So tonight I want to talk about some of these things that we're hearing. What are some of the things you hear out there, April, about all this stuff? What do you see?
Well, most of the time I see that people don't know how to use their position, but I do see a lot of people are combative because they're angry. And I don't
Yes.
think that is the position to be in. I mean, I understand getting angry, but you also have to be professional. And the other thing is, I don't think that people understand the fact that feelings don't matter here. I mean, yay, I'm glad you have them, but the court is a corporate thing. The government is a corporate thing, and it is a fictitious thing. It has no feelings. It only deals in factual things. That's it. So your feelings don't really matter. The third thing I see is people waiting to the last second. Like they'll go in there and let's say that they were following somebody and they don't even have their paperwork right, for one thing. Right. And then they start trying to bully. To me, it looks like bullying the court. Right. And I don't think that is a position to be in at all. I think you have to be respectful that they're in their little box and use their little box to put the lid on them. That's
did you
what
learn
I
that?
think to do.
Did you learn that this weekend?
Well, I kind of already knew that, but still, I
put them in the box. Huh?
Well, I think that might have been something you said, but it's true that they're in this. They have to play within these rules, and when they don't play within these rules, there are consequences to that.
Yes,
and so we have to be skillful and knowledgeable on how to use their rules, their procedures, their decisions against them.
Right.
Everything's there. You just have to put it in the right order.
That's right. And I think the other thing to remember too is that they're always there to deceive you. There's always something going on over here, and then we got something going on over here. And I think that's why you have the feelings issue, because you're not just getting attacked on paper. They're not just attacking you here. They're attacking you in your core, your spirit, right here. They're shaking you up. Those of you guys going through, any kind of judicial court stuff, the way to do it is not go in there. I know that's easy to say. Yes. It is easy to say, but it's actually pretty easy to do too when you know what you're doing. We'll talk more about that.
Because a lot of times, like especially when it's your first time and you didn't go, you're like, what are you gonna do? They're gonna knock down my door, but that doesn't. I mean,
oh my God, that's my picture in the paper. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna be the headline news. No, doesn't happen.
No, it's true though. It's true. I think that I think one thing you guys need to understand with a lot of these teachers, they're going to be telling you how to go into court and make punks out of all these people, like bully the court, like what April was saying. If you have somebody in your life that's telling you that, turn them off. You will get nothing else good from that. I'm going to tell you that now. Just run. You'd be better off knowing nothing than to know that. Would you agree?
Yes, I would. Well, see, here's something that he said. What I can't understand is why they use so much deceit and dishonor, because they're evil. I mean, that's the bottom line. They're evil. That's what evil does.
That's right. That's
evil
right.
Evil has to tell you. Evil does have to tell you what the thing is. Okay, but that doesn't mean they have to tell you right out. It can be in a cartoon. It can be in a movie. It can be in a book, in a music, whatever. But it's telling you somewhere, somehow. It's up to you to figure it out. And after it's told you that it's going to deceive you, it will. And that's what they do. This whole thing is based on deception and evil, to keep them in power and you to be their servant.
Scared. That's right. Yeah. Remember the donkey? You don't want to be the donkey.
No.
Some of us are tired of being the donkey. Hey, and some people like to be the donkey. Hey, Kyle, thank you for those kind words. That's what's up, man. And greetings from Washington State. We actually have quite a few students in Washington State. Really good ones too, by the way. So we'd love to get to know you a little better too. That's pretty cool. Not in a weird way, but you know what I mean. And Peter is saying Peter, just unmute yourself, because like you wrote.
Yeah, that's true.
Peter to the microphone, please.
Yes.
Okay.
I
Can
didn't
you
want to know
expound
what you
on your
guys were
comment
talking about.
or your paragraph? I know you had to get it out fast, but just expound on this for me. You
Oh,
said you just
well,
realized the 12 presumptions of court.
I remember when I first found April, by the grace of God, 4 years ago on this stuff. And one of the first things she was covering in the video, whatever video she was doing at the time, was simply that there's 12 presumptions of court, from the point of that you're considered a ward of a state, you're an idiot, they have to hold your hand, you're a liability, all this stuff. I don't remember off the top of my head, but I remember reading it and feeling very offended and kind of like, this is how they regard me. And now, as all these pieces come together and this administrative process, and like you said earlier, the administrative process actually trumps the law, because the process has to be in place first for the law to even function.
Mhm.
See what I'm saying? That it's kind of like you need the foundation of the house before you can build a house. Otherwise, the house doesn't stand. That we're attacking their system at the process level. We're attacking the foundation and ripping it out from under them, and that's why they're kind of like, when like with the video you show with the cop, where the person
Thank you,
just pulls the
Scott.
seizure on him, and he's like, all of a sudden he's in the submissive role, which he's not used to.
Yeah.
So this is what I'm saying. The 12 presumptions of court, the reason they're there is because you don't know the process, and they're literally making a fool out of you.
Right.
And you don't realize why until you get this data and put the pieces together.
And this is mimicked in our culture, because we have big brother, little brother thing. We have seniors and freshmen in high school. This is all mimicked in our culture. Do you guys know that out there in TikTok land? Yeah, we all do this to each other, like barracudas, really. And which is proof that we need to be saved from ourselves. Okay, seriously, because I will kick my own behind faster than anybody else will all day long. Scott, thank you, man, for the input there. You're absolutely right. I'm really glad that you're here. And
well, it is true. She said, or Shannon, is that a woman?
No,
Shannon, a woman.
Shannon says, no, he's right here. Look at this handsome dude right here. See this handsome guy right here?
I can
Like
definitely
he's
tell
better
you.
looking than I am. God.
He's definitely not a woman. Okay, just saying.
No.
Just saying. Okay, he said, I recently learned that we don't have constitutional rights. That's because it's not a constitutional court. It's a corporate court.
It's a floating court. It's like having court in a tiki lounge. Really, literally. And it's just their tiki lounge. It is. It's an administrative court. It's a big old temple. And that's why you can cry out to Yahweh and he never shows up in there unless he's George Burns. He doesn't show up in the court ever. And the reason he won't is because that's a temple. It's a temple made with unclean hands. Okay? Which these Freemasons, they just go build whatever they want to. And then you have regular Masons that work for Yahweh, and they're a race of people. Okay? So even these Freemasons are mimicking something else that Yahweh had put into place way before that. And we have to remember that when you're dealing with these people. That's why they want you in there. Because if they can get you in there, you've got you away from Yahweh. Gotten you far, far away from Yahweh. So now that really embarks on the bigger question. Who is the straw man really? What is he there to do? Well, I think if you remember your days of Sunday school and you remember your days of sitting in church, little Christian church back then, they would talk to us about these sorts of things. Yeah, they really did. And it was happening right out here in front of us every single day, happening to our parents and things like that. So this straw man was literally created. Erica, you have backup today. We have more people from Washington. Scott is here from Washington as well. So just wanted to let y'all know y'all are both from Washington today. And we have others. Anyway, Erica always says that there's just nobody in Washington that will talk to me. That's not true. Now we have Scott and he will talk to you. So I'm so glad all of you guys are here. But the straw man is a distraction. The straw man was created so that it would mimic the creation of Yahweh completely, or Elohim. Think about it. We're so confused, we don't even know the difference in real reality sometimes. That's why we need this process. And how did we get in this process? Did we get into it with putting a $35 license plate on our car? Nope. Well, so I'm going to tell you, you're not going to get out of it by putting one of those $35 license plates on your car either. and I giggle because, I think people have the best intentions in the world, and I think people really want to stand up, but you need to understand that somebody and something made this thing really, really, really tricky, and they're way smarter than the rest of us. Okay. I mean, just bottom line.
Oh, that's true. It is diabolically evil and brilliant at the same time.
It is. It's like Hitler in the Autobahn. You like Hitler, and you're like, oh, but the Autobahn. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like Hitler in the Volkswagens. It's like Hitler, and then the Volkswagen, best-selling car ever made. Oh, dang.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of those things. So what you have to understand is that we can't walk into court and think we can be more evil than them. Have you ever noticed that? People in divorce court, oh, I'll show her when I go to court. Let me show what a dickhead I can be. And sure enough, that's exactly what they do. Wives, ex-wives out there, everybody said amen. Yeah, right. It happens. It's true. And it's because you're in an evil environment already. So when you guys walk into that temple again, and you decide that you want to have a fight in there, guess what, man? You got a paid audience that you're both paying for, and they're both harvesting your tears, your sorrow. So I'm going to tell you, I disagree with you about the feelings to an extent, because there's an exchange there. These people want your energy. I can tell you, I've been downtown to the San Antonio court building, and they have a swiper thing right there where you can pay money to go get a fishing license and swipe your little credit card, and you're good to go. But if Emmett.damron needs to file something, oh no, that's $80 in cash. And you're going to have to walk all the way over there to the ATM machine, cross the street, and then come all the way back over here. How much does that happen to everybody? Of course it does. Do you know why? Because they're evil trolls.
Well, there's also something called loyalty rituals, where a loyalty ritual is something that is an absurd request that people do when they seriously don't have to, and they don't really question what the deal is.
Right.
Like, why would they make you do that? Because and why aren't more people questioning that and saying, hey, you'll take a card for this, and this, but you won't for this. They just go, oh, well, I guess I got to have cash for that because somebody made a decision based on what?
Yeah, the people that work for you did that for you. Isn't that nice? It makes me want to pull my hair out. Oh, it already happened. But I'm serious. It just does. And it makes, and I get it why people walk into places and go ballistic and just shoot everybody up now. I get it now. When I was a kid, I never understood it. But I'm getting the breaking point now. I'm getting it. Not saying I'm going to do that, so just don't get excited.
No, but I understand.
You're going to see me on the news. That ain't going to happen.
It's the frustration of going, this is stupid.
And these idiots work for me.
Yeah.
I was at a gym the other day, and they hit me with $275 for an initial down payment for my wife and I to join the gym. And I thought, oh my God, I could go get 4 wheels and a set of car keys for $275 down and almost that payment a month. You're out of your head. And I asked them, I said, well, what's the $100 initiation fee for? And they said, well, that's so we don't raise your rates. And I was like, oh, so what you're saying is I need to bribe you so you don't raise my monthly rates? And why would you raise my monthly rates in the first place? So really, if I pay you this $100, what do I get for that? That you're not going to screw me over? Because, I don't have a contract with my phone either. And they're like, well, it's because there's no contract. And this goes back to that no thinking thing. Well, and so the $275 was first payment and last payment. Now, if you don't have a contract, you can't have a last payment. And you certainly can't have a first payment. And this is the problem. This is the problem. This is the problem we have. So people don't think on just about every single aspect of their life. Really, they don't. Because, think about this too. They go and they get a job and they pay taxes to somebody who has no interest in their work other than making money off of them. Because they don't. You can see it when you're awake, you can see it in a restaurant. You got 10 people that are servers all walking around the room, and it's cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching every minute of every hour that those people are running around. What does the government have in stake in that? Nothing. Zero. And all those people are churning. That's the transmitting utility part. That's right.
They're sitting there and they're churning on this wheel all the time because like you said, it's this distraction, and it's a distraction on purpose, where they've created all this debt and all these burdens and all this kind of thing where we have to turn on the wheel and then it goes ching, 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 ticking up for them 10 times, all those people in there.
Mm-hmm.
And for what? For nothing. They don't do anything actually for you.
So what does that tell you? You should ask. You should
Yeah.
ask lots of questions. And I'll tell you, I had it out with those salespeople, and I told them, I said, your sales training has failed you today, utterly. And whoever's told you this is how you do this job, you should call them on the phone and threaten them. You really should, because I just pulled down your pants in front of everybody and made you all look stupid. So if you can't tell me what this charge is for, and if you're going to tell me that I'm paying you for some kind of racketeering that's going on here, you're going to know that that's kind of illegal. You know, you're not supposed to like pay protection money to keep somebody from raising your rates. That's just saying. That's called RICO. You know, I'm just saying. You know, so, but you know, these things they say. Anyway, ain't that truth? Wow.
I know. I'm reading TikTok too. I never use TikTok. I only like repost other people's videos because I don't even know how to use it.
Satan owns every one of them. He's right. They said that on TikTok.
Yeah.
And he does. And he does. Let me tell you something. And those of you out there that think that he don't own you either, let me tell you something. If you're not serving Yahweh, you're with him. You're just a lesser in the fold. You're like a pawn.
They are like pawns.
And they're already false flags, laughing my ass off, Steve Brown. TikTok is owned by China. This is true.
Some of these people, they're already in the corral. So they don't really, when they say things like that, I'm like, well, you're already in the corral. They don't really have to do anything to you because you're already in the box.
And you're convinced.
Yeah.
And you're convinced. You got ABC News. You got everything. You are convinced. Mm-hmm. And right. I got to tell you, man, the problem is that these guys will betray you at some point in time.
Yes, they will.
And right now, they're betraying every person in this country. Every person. Every courtroom. Every judge. And let me tell you something. I've done cases. She's done a ton of cases too. And I've done cases all over the country. I've sat in court cases all over the country. And I can tell you that we all, not some of the lawyers are bad. No, they're all bad. Oh. Everyone. And they're all part of the same, they're all eating out of the same garbage can. And can I tell you, the lawyers are the ones that are electing themselves to be our presidents too. So
yes,
we need to stop. We need to stop.
Have any of them ever? Has anyone ever wondered why there's no judge that runs against another judge?
Because they're all buddies.
They're
right. All friends. And I mean, and of course, what else could they be? Hey, I'm a judge. You're a judge. Couldn't we be friends too? Of course. Yeah, I bet you they got like a Meet the Judge little web page. It's probably all private and everything for singlejudges.com. Something dumb like that. Who knows? You know? Yeah, I mean, you know, they can't stay married, and half the time they're, I don't know. I can tell you when I was in Bernalillo, I saw a lot of handsy things going on in courtrooms in Bernalillo.
Everything is under the table and behind the scenes, and it's the same exact thing. Whatever government entity it is, whatever law enforcement entity it is. Now, I think you guys were looking at this book, okay? And this, yeah. And so this book is telling you exactly what's going on here, which is amazing because I didn't even know about this book until I found you.
And we're not going to learn that in the $5 books, those little UC Connections books. I had somebody get mad at me today, and I was like, please, it's $15 worth of books. How much stuff do you really think you're going to get? Look, see, I got one too. And look, if you guys don't have one of these, TikTok, stop listening to everybody. Just go buy this book, and you'll see that I know what I'm talking about. You know why? Because this is a textbook. Yeah.
If you have ever had any dealings with court, law enforcement, or whatever, then when you read that book, it's going to open your eyes as to why they're acting like they are.
There's Jamie. That's exactly right. Welcome to the call, Jamie. Yes. And this book is going to keep the lights on. And those of you that are, you know what, while you're reading this book, just keep it in the car with you in case you get pulled over. If they even see this in your front seat, they're going to know what's up. They're going to know what's up. Trust me. And they're probably going to let you make it. We'll just write you a warning today. Anyway, let me check some messages over here. It says, I saw an interesting video. Erica says she saw an interesting video today, and it was how deeds are titled. Hence, they always have to pay property tax. I'd love to learn more about it. Well, we're going to talk about that on another call. But yes, tonight we're going to be focusing about the straw man. And look, we're saying all these bad things, right? And that's no different than anybody else. So now that we got all the bad stuff out of the way, and I think we've spent all the toilet paper we need to spend wiping this, smearing this stuff around. I think we've accomplished that. So now I'm going to show you something that your teachers aren't telling you. How to fix it. How do you stand up? You see what April's holding up right there? Don't listen to me. Go buy this book. Read it. It's only 300 pages. I mean, it's a little more than $15. But I mean, really, you can't even get out of McDonald's for less than $15 these days. Come on now. Even with the EBD card, I think they charge you an extra $15 for showing up and gas.
Yeah, this is probably one of the best books that you could ever get. What benefits does straw man have? It sounds all bad. No, it's not bad at all. You're trying to get, what you're going to do is you're going to be using your straw man to your advantage.
Yes.
That's what you're doing.
So what I'm telling you, exactly what we're telling you is that don't throw away your driver's licenses. Don't throw away all that stuff. Those are securities. Those are stuff you can use. A fool would tell you to throw them things away. A fool would tell you, oh, we're going to unplug from everything and we don't want any part of this anymore. Well, too late, too bad, so sad. You are part of it. And you have two choices. You can make it good and you can win, or you can just be the donkey going back and forth. And some people like to be the donkey. I don't. Anyway,
No.
so the benefits of the straw man is this. This is what I okay, man. I don't even know if I'm going to put this on YouTube before I say this, but this is what I teach. Okay. It's estate planning. Okay. It's just estate planning. It's nothing special. It's simple. Once you guys get done running down all the rabbit holes out there in TikTok land, it's really just estate planning. Oh no. And it's not done in probate court either. But what it is that your straw person is a two-edged sword. Okay. He's really good at cutting the grass. He's really good at painting the house. He's good at doing all these things. But the problem is that he's painting everybody else's houses. He's cutting everybody else's grass. And I'm saying this metaphorically. I'm saying that your straw man is typically in service to everybody else but you. And that's a problem. Because then who's accountable? You. And then guess what? Guess who ends up on the, oh, well, I guess just have to do it. I mean, shoot, man, we can almost do that in our sleep these days, America. We really can. Oh, well. Oh, hell, just have to take it. Turn the other cheek. I remember they used to say that back in the 80s, you know? Well, don't forget to turn the other cheek. I did. And I got suspended and I got expelled from school because I mooed a bunch of cheerleaders at the bus. That was a bad idea. I just said I turned the other cheek. They didn't like it. I was a really, really struggling child. I had a hard time with authority, had a hard time with rules because I was programmed with a certain set of rules, and this world was trying to tell me that there was another set of rules. You guys identifying with that out there? You hear me? Say it one more time.
Yes.
I grew up with a certain set of rules and programming in my head, and then the world said, when I got to first grade, you know what? We're going to make you sit aside from the class. We're going to do this to you in this class. And we're going to do these things to manipulate, control you, and make sure we can suppress all that stuff. For what? Well, in your first grade, that's when you first saw your straw person. Your first grade report card, that's when you first saw your straw person. And he just got led into the big fold. Now that we're all old and we got gray hair and we got kids, and we got liabilities, and now we got pressure, real pressure, because now we got to take care of these liabilities. And when you talk about estate planning, those are called beneficiaries. Yeah. So this process that a lot of you are waking up to, it's Yahweh. It's Yahweh talking to you. Do you hear me out there? All of you guys out there? All of you guys out there? It's Yahweh talking. say something good, the computer gets mad at me. Hold on, I'll be back in a second if it gets me. But this is what he does, and if it does, just take over. I got to tell you guys, you can either have a plan or you can plan to fail. There's a lot of contracts that were made on your behalf since you were little kids, all of us, okay? And let me tell you something, we can undo those contracts today. Well, not right this second, but you can make a choice to undo those contracts today. And the first contract you need to make is you need to plug yourself into the source of absolute knowledge, of absolute perfection. And guess who that is? It's not me and it's not April or June. No, no, no. We are just byproducts of that, okay? I'm like that's what it looks like when you do it. I'm just that guy, okay? So what I'm telling you is get out of your churches, okay? They're not going to teach you anything but how to be a slave to them. Those guys will tell you, well, we don't believe in the old law. And, Jesus died for us, so we don't have to do that anymore. But yet, do you know that tithing is part of that old law?
Yeah.
Man, they didn't stop that part, did they? No, 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 no. And apparently he didn't pay that price, did he? Because somebody needed an $80 million jet to fly around in, I guess. And what I'm saying is that we need to test these fruits. We need to test these people and stop following people. You know, for years, I heard people in churches tell me I need to submit to a man. And then I read in my word, it said to submit to him and submit to him only. And you know what? I've been through some fire, ladies and gentlemen. I got some scars and I've paid a lot of dues. But I've done it so you don't have to. I've done it so that I can share with you my process and what works. Okay? We contracted our way into this nonsense. I'm going to show you how to contract out of this nonsense. I'm going to show you how to understand who the straw person really is. He's just a security. And if you're smart, he's a transmitting utility. If you're doing it right, he's a transmitting utility.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I got a question here. It says, how do you get a judge give your property back? Well, you don't give it to him in the first place. Would you give somebody that you knew was going to steal from you your property? So stop giving your property to these judges. I know that's easy for me to say because you already did it. It's kind of heartless, but I mean, seriously. I would have taken the contempt from court. I would have said, you know what? Then you come on over here and come take it then. And I'm going to put it on TikTok. I'm going to let everybody watch what you're doing. Everybody. So if you're going to screw me over, you're going to screw me over in front of everybody. And everybody's going to see it. You know what? That's called breaching the public trust, guys. And let me tell you something. While they're running that fear stuff on you, they want you to keep real, real quiet like a victim that's getting molested. They want you to keep quiet, not say nothing, and just walk away. Let me tell you, Yahweh expects more from you than that. And he's given you more than that. But you got to take it. You got to take that walk. I think that there's so many rabbit holes. But what you're going to find is a lot of these people are running from Yahweh's authority. They're running from other authorities. And if they're doing that, you need to get away from those people. Okay? David Strait's running from all kinds of stuff.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Amy's on here and she's a loaded gun. She's ready to like, pow, 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 pow. She's ready to like let him have it. Like anytime if I hit the unmute button, he's dead. But and tonight we're actually going to do something a little bit fun. And my internet connection is a little bit weird, Jamie. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to do that thing. But we just might give old David Strait a call.
Oh, boy.
We actually have his phone number, so we just might give him his personal number. But you know, I've been talking to Jody a lot.
Who's Jody?
And, oh well, Jody's another one of his victims, and she was a girlfriend. Somebody else, somebody in between your time and her time. I'm still trying to figure it all out, but I gotta tell you, man, you see, it was sinister, man. It was sinister. And just heard some things, and I don't even want to say because it was so bad, but I'm going to tell you to call Kenny. Sean, hey, Sean says we should call Kenny, right? We should, right? Take National Rock. No, I don't know. We won't call Kenny because we'll leave him at South Park. It's fine. We'll leave Kenny at South Park. And, you know.
Get the last videos of David Strait stuff I sent you.
Yes, I did. I looked at those. Those were insane. But I'm going to tell you guys, the straw man is simply a security.
I think you froze.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Okay, he did freeze. Well, okay, there you go. He's
I'm
back.
But you know, we got to be careful with all that stuff. And the straw man is something that we can manage. Okay, it's something you can manage. And you know what the proof is? Everybody else is managing your straw person. When you go to the hospital,
Oh, yeah.
when you hear the word discharge,
You're freezing. Oh,
I see him on TikTok.
keeps freezing.
Scotty brought me back.
There-
Thank you. Thank you very much. So if you ever notice, you hear the word discharge, that means somebody's getting paid. Now
Yep.
let's talk about, where do you hear the word discharge? At the hospital, right?
Yep.
The courthouse.
Yep.
Where else do we hear the word discharge at? Anywhere else?
Debt. All kinds of debts.
Taxes.
Credit.
Yep. So when we hear discharge, that means that somebody got paid. When they say, hold on, we're discharging you from the hospital, that means that they're getting all those security agreements together so they can run them to the treasury and get paid. So they have a little checklist that they do there, the girls in the office back there, and they go through a little checklist and they make sure all that paperwork's in there. And that's why it takes so long to get out of the stupid hospital, because they want to make sure while you're there, they've got all the paperwork they need so that they can get paid from the treasury. And then they bill you again. Isn't that fun?
I have a question.
Yes.
I sent you a, I don't know if I sent you the video. United States Courts of Federal Claims.
Mhm.
Tell me your.
Oh, the United States Court of Federal Claims. It's for tort claims against agencies, from what I understand.
It's in Washington, but then they say there's
They have satellite courts.
three. So
Yeah, military discharge. That means they got paid, Shannon.
yeah, three territory court. There's only three. Tim, where were those at? Territorial courts. There was.
Oh,
one in-
they have satellite courts. They have satellite courts that are everywhere. Hold on, let me get these things up because I lost my chat log.
They're saying that's the only true court.
That's the only court you can.
Oh, they're the only true courts?
The only
You can go after a judge.
that you can go after a judge or any entity of like a state or a federal worker or
Whoa,
somebody.
whoa. Shh. Don't. We can't talk about that, Jamie. They'll bust me on TikTok land. They'll start crying out there. Don't talk like that.
Sorry, I forgot about TikTok.
Yeah, that's a conversation we have to have, like, while we're drinking or something. I'm kidding. We don't even drink. We don't even drink. I was kidding. I was kidding.
Oh. Tim's over here singing Yahweh.
No. Yeah, this is me. But no, I'm just saying that we have to. Yeah, we can't be talking about suing judges and things like that, because that's what Kenny Plaster has got a lot of light on right now. And I'm just waiting for the next Waco incident to come in and get themselves another David. The last one was David too, so why not?
They're not taking any of his stuff down.
It must be that first name.
Yeah.
There's that $5 book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See,
$5 book of freedom.
I will tell you this. The only thing that I think these books are good for
Doorstops.
is like an introduction to help someone understand that there's a dual system going on. Maybe.
But the reality is that there's so little information in there. You could get it
Right.
all from YouTube before Amazon got it to your door.
Maybe.
No, maybe about it. We could do it in 5 minutes. Like, those books are easy.
But you have to know where to look. I
Tim
mean,
told they're good for buyers.
I think they're okay for just an introduction, a small introduction. But you know, the thing is I think some people don't even. I think they're not business minded, which is another problem that people have. Because if you're business minded, and I like to use the example of these designers like Michael Kors. Michael Kors is a real live human, but he also has a company called Michael Kors.
Mhm.
They're not the same thing. They're two different things, but they're named the same thing. Now, when I first started, people said, oh, you can't copyright your name. You can't do that. I thought, but wait a minute. Musicians do it all the time. Entertainers do it all the time. So don't tell me. I know I'm in the entertainment industry too. And I'm like, excuse me.
I did it.
Exactly. I did it.
Gene
And
Simmons
so I'm
did it.
like, no, yeah. And every designer out there that uses their name as the designer, I'm thinking, what are you talking about? And so I just put that to the side and I did it anyway. But some things just don't make sense. And I think you've got to have some kind of business sense in your head to be able to manage this straw man, because that's what you're doing. The straw man's never going to die. I think some of these people actually think that you can get rid of the straw man, but that's never going to happen.
They
The
do.
government has the government has a vested interest in making sure that never happens.
Mhm. And
So
they're going
you're
to
going
protect
to
it too.
manage it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're going to protect it too. Absolutely.
Yeah. So you're going to manage it. That's what you're going to do to your benefit.
Well, you should, and you should try to understand it. And I think that's
Yes.
where people really go wrong. But here's what happens. We get so caught up in the day to day that we really think that it's us, right? Out there.
Yes.
Everybody thinks that it's us. We think that it's, that's just what you got to do. Get up, go to work. You got to do this thing, but it's different. And as I guess, since 2008, I've seen a big change in our country. And that people are more concerned about the straw person than they are who they are. And I think
that's true.
I think that this is the real deception on who the straw man really is. He's the one that's going to lead you to sin. He's the one that's going to make you buy the car you can't afford. He's the one in 2008 that caused a housing crisis in this country because a bunch of people thought that they could go out and buy homes that they really couldn't buy. But just because the bank said so, they over obligated themselves.
Right.
Now, what kind of deceiver would do that to you? Your flesh, your straw man, an entity not created by our Elohim or Yahweh. Okay. So think about this. This artificial entity was created for their benefit ultimately. But if you play this right, you can get it all. Go ahead.
There's three things in here. Peter said, and I thought about this earlier when I said that. Peter said they teach you in school to be a good, obedient worker, not a business owner. Yes, they're teaching you how to be a worker, not an entrepreneur. That's right. And we should be entrepreneurs.
All of us should be. We used to be.
Yeah. Yes. The other one is
we used to know how to make cook. We used to know how to do electrical stuff at our house. And dude, how many men here can change a breaker box in their house? How many men on the channel can do that today? Because I'm not one of them.
She says she can.
He's got insurance. He doesn't care. He'll give it a shot. But no, I'm just saying.
Are you talking about the breaker or the entire box?
The whole box and put a brand new one in.
It's a breaker box.
Yeah, a whole brand new box with solar panels and RC cars in the front yard and everything. All that. I mean, nobody knows how to do that anymore.
That's true.
They don't. Ladies, how many of you know how to make a 3-course meal?
Oh, well, yeah, of course.
This one does. This one does. He does it well, actually. And I'm just saying, I had to because I would starve if I didn't. That's what my mother told me. She said, you better go to culinary school, son, because these women of your age, they don't know how to cook. And you know what? She was right. And
I told my son the same thing.
Slowly, our skill sets are being robbed from us. Yes. And they're being absorbed by the straw man that sits on TikTok all day. Okay? Sits on Facebook all day. And what are we doing for Yahweh? What are we doing for our fellow man?
There's two other things on this. Shannon said, I just finished the Redemption Manual 5, which is interesting. The Redemption Manual 4.5, just so you know, I know somebody who actually has read the first one, which was over 1,000 pages. You'll never find it. They've scrubbed the earth. It's not even available. It's never going to happen. Yeah. And he said that Redemption Manual 4.5 was the closest you'll ever get to the actual one, but they took out a whole bunch of stuff out of it because, that's the way the feds are. They don't want you to know anything, so they scrub the book to a point. Okay, so that's the closest you're going to get.
That's why we have 66 Bibles in our Bible. I mean, that's why we have 66 books in our Bible. They don't want you to know that Yahweh's clock is operated by the moon. Go ahead.
And the third thing was give an example of transmitting utility, what it is to explain. And the only way I can think of it, now you might have a better way to do this, but what I think of it is like Walmart is a fictitious thing. Okay. And if I want to go in there, I'm a live human and they have a live human that is representing Walmart at a cash register. Okay. But a fictitious thing can't do business with a live thing. It can't cross over. It can't become, you can't become fictitious and it can't become real. So they have a representative at the cash register and I'm walking in with my debit card. Okay. When I go to that cash register and I'm using my debit card or whatever, I'm now becoming I'm using the straw man fictitious transmitting utility to do two representatives of two fictitious things transacting together. That's the only thing I can think of.
Okay. Let me take a whack at this.
Okay.
Because I'm still sharp. We just talked about this in the UCC class. So a transmitting utility, the first definition of a transmitting utility is something that sends water or electricity or something down a pipeline, anything down a pipeline. So remember that's the metaphor there. Okay. The second definition is sending commerce down a pipeline. Now, a little bit different. So what we do is we create the pipeline. Okay. You create the pipeline. Let's talk about how that pipeline might be created. So let's say, for example, you have a special needs person. I say this all the time. This is like my favorite metaphor because it works. You have a special needs person and, you know, he has no family. He's not independently wealthy and he can't make a living. What do? We just leave him on the curb and let him die? No. Like the Shriners, the United Way, somebody's going to come by and they're going to create a pipeline so that they can take care of that person. Okay. Old folks' homes do it all the time. They call it long-term care. Okay. Mm-hmm. And so when I started reading all this stuff and I ran down all these rabbit holes, you know what? Let's go with what works. Okay. Now, fact. Every now and then you see a special needs person or a handicapped person that's, you know, or just, you know, a vet. More commonly, I've just seen it just recently. A veteran came back and he was disabled. He could not stand up on his own power. And so he was able to get a wheelchair that was enabling him to stand up by the chair so that he could get married to his spouse. Now, that little gig right there was about a $25,000 trip to the bank. Well, how does that work? Well, somebody created a pipeline. Somebody created a pipeline so that they could send commerce down that pipeline to take care of that guy. Okay. Guess what we do? We do the same thing. We just don't take any credit for it. We take care of the straw man all day long. We pay his rent. We pay his mortgage. And hey, we get to live in his house. We get to drive the cars. We get to do all that stuff too. So that's our perk. That's our consideration. But you don't get any real consideration because let's look at the perspective of your employer. Okay. Those of you that have W-2 employee, you're employed with somebody and you have a W-2 or you have a 1099 relationship. Okay. It's funny. I just did a case. I did a plea and abatement on a case just the other day, and they were trying to get her for theft, but she worked there. I mean, they were trying to get her for grand theft and forgery, and she was on the bank account. She could sign checks on the bank account. That was okay, and she didn't forge any checks because she didn't have to. It was her name, and two, she had access to everything, so she didn't grand theft anything. So we have to understand how these things work, and actually we have to call them what they really are. I didn't mean to get sidetracked there, but what I'm saying is you've got to create that pipeline. And once we create the pipeline and we have a real pipeline to the straw man, that's when you can start getting in and discharging all that stuff. Trust me, the United Way that provided that guy a wheelchair for $25,000 or whatever it was, they got their money back and then some. because they were able to charge extra things because they were involved with the purchase. See, you ever seen those guys getting a hover round chair? I know I ordered one for my dad before he passed away. Oh my gosh, man, they're willing to like drive it to your house for you with snow cones practically. You know, why? Because they know they're going to discharge all of that debt off of that security agreement that my dad's going to sign or did sign at the time. Okay. So what we have to do is we have to put ourselves in that position. And the only way to do that is by creating a pipeline. Now, I'm not going to teach the whole class to you guys tonight. Okay. But I am going to tell you how we get there. And I'm going to tell you that's how it's done. And I'm going to tell you these teachers that are out there telling you something else. Look, dude, be smart, be sensible. We can look around. We can watch the news and we see how this is happening. Do you really think the Shriners are living off the whole Shriners hospitals are really just living off donations? They got pipelines all over the hospital.
Donors.
And they're just banging them every month because they're taking care of those kids, man, and they are making money. Those Masons are killing it right now because they understand the game. They get it. So, yes, they're all SPCs. Guess what happens when one of those little girls, little boys goes into the hospital? They get to put a lien on them right away. And now they can perfect that lien and keep paying for that stuff and take care of their cancer. It's a way to do it when they don't have any money. And that's how they're doing it, guys. We're doing this every day with our straw person, okay? But yet we can't put 2 feet in front of us to figure it out. You know why? It's because you're not paying attention. It's because you're too busy following a man than listening to Yahweh. Yahweh would just show you that's what's going on right in front of you. All I do is turn on the news and pay attention.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I did. Well, and I was obedient. That helps, you know? And that's what we got to do. So if you guys are interested in learning this process, send me an email, Emmett.damron@yahoo.com or seekgodfirst130@gmail.com. Either one of those work. And we can do an interview. We can talk. I don't let just anybody take my classes. You guys are all really special people, and we want to keep it that way. I don't need any cuckoo birds in my class. I don't need any Kenny plasters in my class. I don't need any of that. I want people that are ready to work. And you know what? When you figure out that your straw man is your biggest battle, you don't care about politics anymore. When you figure out that straw man's been whipping your ass your whole life, excuse my language, everyone, you know what? You don't care who's voting for president anymore. You don't give a crap because now you have a score to settle. And now you have beneficiaries that need you and they're depending on you to be smart enough for them to leave a path for them so that they'll learn and that they'll benefit from you. Not just, well, that's what you get. Good luck. That's what my parents did. Not okay, man. Not okay. We can do it better. All of us out there, we can do it better. I know there's a process. It's a process. We're going to, you guys want to check this out on TikTok. Those of you guys that are joining in late, I'm going to be posting it to our page. I'm a little bit behind on everything with all the classes and everything, and I'm still just really exhausted. But I will get it up the next day or so. It'll be on our YouTube page. It's Living Life Without Contracts. Please feel free to check out all the other stuff too. You know, I just want you guys to remember Satan. Yeah, he's real. He's very real. And he wants you. He wants to encumber your soul, your emotions, your pain. He wants to harvest everything from you. Everything. But you know what? Yahweh will give you joy, a joy that nobody can take away. He'll give you a victory that people will run from. Okay? He'll give you so much truth in your life. You'll speak 2 words and the whole room will light up. Pretty much people will run out of there. I'm not kidding you. Only Yahweh can give you that authority. Those of you guys trying to get rich, trying to learn this process so you can get into that Suskew trust and you can get rich. Let me tell you something. You can have all the money in the world, but only Yahweh can give you the peace to enjoy it. You hear me? And I'm being serious about that. I know a lot of people that have money, a lot of money. And I know quite a few of them that aren't very happy. And they never will be happy. No matter how much more money they get, they still won't be happy. I'm going to tell you, you guys need to make some changes. You need to start looking at the straw man. Remember, he's not you. and then take him out of your life for a second. And I wanted you to see what's left and ask yourself, is that something you want your kids to see? Is that a transparency you really want your kids to live up to? Are you doing it? It's for you to decide, not for me, not even for me to condemn you for it. That's between you and Yahweh. And I just recommend all of you guys tonight, take this information. Don't get frustrated. Study, show yourself approved. Learn. We've got some seeds that I've planted, okay? He'll grow those seeds for you. Scott says, I'm ready to do this, but I have one issue I need to know about. My wife's on disability, learning disability. Oh, that's wonderful. It's not a problem, is what I'm saying. But she is one of Yahweh's children more than I've ever seen. How do I get us both out of the system? Scott. You know what, man? That's like the thing I wanted to hear. I'm sorry, man. This is what I wanted to hear. Let me just give me a second, man. How do you get yourself out of the system? Well, you need to recognize what the system is. And the system is simply your strong person. He's the old man. That's the one that gets you in trouble, okay? That's the one that spends too much at Christmas time. That's the one that gets too many credit cards. He buys cars he can't afford, houses he can't afford, and he lives beyond his means. You need to get that person out of your life. The word is very clear. It says the borrower is servant to the lender. So what does that tell you? You contract that turkey up and we put a lien on him, perfect a lien on him, then we'll bind him. Just like the evil ones that are below the Euphrates right now. We can bind him. You could put him away, and you could stand away from him and perfect this process. Scott, send me an email. Emmett.damron. You know what? I'm just going to put it in the comments right here. Talk sometime this week. And I really would like to talk to you and your wife. Cool. Let's schedule an appointment. Let's talk sometime this week. I'd like to talk to you a little bit more and a little privately too about this sort of thing too, because this is a private matter. You know, Yeshua scolded the Pharisees for praying out in public and and it's just like the people today that run around with cameras saying, look, I'm helping this homeless guy out. You know what? You just received your glory right there. That's what the word says. You're all the rewards you want are right there. You just got them. But if you want Yahweh's reward, you got to do it quietly. You got to do it privately. We got too many people out here running their flappers, talking about different gospels. Thank you, man. That's nice. We got a lot of people talking about a lot of different truths, but there's only one truth. And let me tell you something. There's only one line. There's two lines, actually. They're the ones that did what Yahweh said to do, and they're the ones that didn't. And if you're not sure where you stand in that, open up your Bible. Open up Leviticus. Open up the 10 Commandments. Are you following them? Do you honor the Sabbath? Or some other man telling you how to do it? You could talk to him directly. That's why Yeshua died. And I recommend you do it. Now, I know some people will say, I cried out to him before and, he didn't come. Well, it's probably because you didn't deserve it. So maybe you need to convince him. Maybe you need to show some humility.
The devil's liar.
Yeah. And I'm going to tell you, I put my face in the carpet and just died. And I did it for weeks until I heard his voice. And I was getting to the point where I was going to stop eating too, because if he didn't answer me. So, you know what? And he loves me. And he didn't make me wait that long. And he did it. And you know what? If he'll do it for an old fool like me, he'll do it for you guys too. I promise. It's been a fruitful night, April. Thank you. Jamie, thank you. You guys are like wonderful. And it's cool because it's like it just having you both your little boxes there reminds me of the TV show. I just love it, man. I feel like the little TV show because we're like the little TV show now. I don't sing it. Don't sing the song. Please don't. We just don't do it. Somebody's gonna type it.
I have a phone number.
Anyway, I want to thank all of you guys for being here on the call. It was wonderful. It was very productive. Jamie, go ahead. What'd you have? Do you have something you want to say?
Oh, I said I have a phone number for you.
Yes, but we're gonna do it next week when I've got some things come. Look, so hold on. Just so everybody knows, I'm not BSing. I have a new internet box. It's right here. Okay. And I just haven't hooked it up yet. And I'm
Nice.
still on the crappy, slow internet. So next week I will have it open so I don't drop out of the call because I don't want to miss a second. Not 1 second. He's going to be my Goliath and I'll be David.
Probably heading your way here soon.
Who's that? Oh, you are?
Yeah.
Cool. I can't wait to see you. Perfect. All right.
Trying to make our road trip that direction if we can.
Awesome. Those of you guys that want any information on the class schedules, set up interviews, anything like that, just send me an email. I'll get back with you as soon as I can. I got a lot of emails, so just be patient with me. I'm trying. It's just one of me. There's no operator standing by over here. Trust me. All right. I love you guys. Have a beautiful week. May Yahweh bless your homes, bless all that you do. Sean, so good to see you again. Shannon, good to see you again. Thank you, Angela, for your view of your ceiling, but we know you're here listening. And everybody else, Chad, Douglas, Scott, Connie. Oh my gosh, there's like so many of you guys here. You guys be super blessed. We'll see you guys next week. Good night, everybody.